Free range isn't always the best for everyone. I have my chickens in a free range chicken tractor setup where they have an electric fencing and they're able to help me keep down the weeds on my lot. This summer, as I got into full production in my garden, I noticed that I started finding holes all over my tomatoes, and also, worst off, the squash was all full of holes, ruining all of my hard work. Today I'm going to build a chicken run that produces compost. I'm going to use a no budget or low budget design here. I have lots of scrap that I'm able to employ, scrap wood, scrap parts. It's about 10 meters long by 5 meters wide. That will give the chickens plenty of room, and I can use my electric fencing to extend beyond the area if I want to let them out to go pick at some grubs. I'm going to take advantage of this gravity-fed water line that I have here behind me along this fence line, and this will be a valuable source of water, easy access to be able to keep that compost moist. Also give the chickens water on a daily basis. Here's a wider shot of what we've got going on, of the place where the chicken run is going to be going. Here's a failed attempt at a previous chicken run using pallets. They're way too heavy in this windy area, and we definitely need cement postings to keep up the chicken running. I'm going to keep a meter long width between this fence line and the chicken run, so I'm able to easily walk between here and keep up on the maintenance in this little area, and also to access the gravity-fed pipe that runs along the fence. I'm going to go 10 meters up that way, just above this loquat. It was struggling the first year, but finally taking off, and then 5 meters wide that way. So I've measured out a meter, and I think that's a bit too short. If you ever had to do any maintenance in between that area, it would be really tight. So I'm going to expand it out to 1.5 meters. You could tell that I'm well adapted to European life because I don't even understand our old imperial system anymore. I have been here in Spain for 14 years and I love the metric system. There's 1.5 meters. So here's the first change I'm going to make is I'm going to go to 4 meters instead of 5. 5 I think is way too wide to keep up on the maintenance of being able to gather all the compost and put it into a nice pile. So 5 would just be too wide and give the chickens too much room to be able to spread out all the compost and the inputs that I put in there. Even I think 4 is a bit wide. And as I said, I've changed my dimensions from 5 meters to 3.5. I think that's more practical in this situation. Use a trusty old rock to mark that 8 meters. So we can afford to go another 2 meters up towards the garden area, and I'll just end up moving the electric fence line. This is a very underutilized area and really has no purpose except for keeping those olive trees. Eventually that will be a line of trees throughout my land. And that's the plan really, all the way down to the white building you see beyond the chicken tractor. The plan is to do 10-meter lengths, non-tree systems, and then we have perennial systems in a 3-meter length going every 10 meters all the way down. You know, getting things started out here in a dry, arid area can be quite difficult, and you have to water by hand. So I do recommend when you're starting out a project that you do invest as much as you can in irrigation to get it all set up the way you want. It can be quite a daunting task to get everything in order, but it's well worth it because you're just going to struggle, kill a lot of plants in the first few years, and then realize that you should have invested in irrigation right from the start. To move any further, I'm going to have to get rid of this scrap. So let's get to taking down this previous sad attempt at a chicken run, and we're going to make room for a new beautiful one. Well, don't take my word on being beautiful. After all, it is a scrapped chicken run. Gotta make sure there's no wasps in here. A gecko? No wasps. Up here, I'll be doing 75 centimeters from the top post for structural support to hold the nesting area and any other infrastructure that I'll be needing. And it's closest to the house. That way, when I harvest the eggs, it's easy to reach in from access door from behind. And also below here is that plastic sandwich board that I'll be installing to help feed the compost piles with nitrogen. Finally, I've got all the stakes lined out and I've double checked the measurements to make sure that it's true to the wall, and then 3.5 wide by 10 meters long. Be sure if you're doing this on your own, always double check your measurements. So before I dig, I'm going to flood irrigate this whole area because it's very dry and impossible to dig almost now. You know, your irrigation system is a good one when it includes a dirty old rag, some sticks, and a sketchy pipe. This is the way I get water from our main pump that is a community pump we all share. It consists of blocking the main pipe so it goes to my water tank where I have a smaller pump for the little house and for irrigating. My tank is way too small and I'm in the process of making it build bigger, but that will take a while. This is always a bit of a puzzle putting it all together best I can. By the way, if anybody knows of a better system, please let me know. And then I come over here, open up the pump house, switch on the pump, and then I come over here and check to make sure nothing's obstructing my down spout that goes to our area. Sometimes you get a lot of nopal in there, prickly pear or fig leaves in there. So now I've got to connect this flexible tubing that I've got, and I had a hole in it because I was dragging it around. I ripped a hole in it. Got to put these O-rings on, connect the two pieces that were separated from the rip. That will bring water down to where I'm making the chicken run and make my life a little bit easier for digging those post holes. I've got some of the water filling up my tank right now, and the excess flows over here. It's really not a very efficient system, but this is the way all the old timers around here used to irrigate. Then you just want to come over, slide your other O-ring on. Slide that on the best you can. And now the water makes it this far. I've got it all flooded now, and it should be easy once it sinks in to dig these holes, all that excess water. I'm gonna just switch the water a little bit so I get up to these upper parts where the water hasn't quite arrived. That'll make it easier. And now that should be enough to get over to where I need it. A few more minutes like that and I'll be ready to dig the post holes. Now I'm going to get started up here on the upper part where the water's already sunk into the ground. Here's the first hole. Everything around here starts with a pickaxe because that's how hard the ground is. As you can see, we don't have bad soil. It's just that when it dries out, it becomes very hard. It's not exactly clay soil. I think it's clay loam. That's what leads to the hard digging conditions around here. So let's continue with the hole. And I think I'm gonna toss all of my excess dirt into the interior of the chicken run. It can be mixed together with other composting material to start out the composting. One down, 11 to go. These two holes have hard pan quite shallow. Hopefully they'll stand up, or I can get them a bit deeper before I make the cement. Here's a quick added bonus. Just look how much life. Oh, there's a cuckoo. Look how much life is under these logs. I guess not so much here right now. It's not very moist. But the other one I pulled up, there was. So I'll be putting these logs down there in the chicken run while I build. Bugs can make some habitat down in there. Every once in a while you can turn them over and the chickens have some high protein snacks to eat. So I've got 4 more posts to dig, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Next day I'll be selecting scrap wood for posts. Hopefully I have enough to make all of these. It will be sort of thrown together with what I have and screwed together. It just has to stand some pretty strong winds. That's about it. So this is the first part of this installment of building a chicken run with a low budget, no budget, just scrap parts and some chicken wire, cement, and maybe a few other bought-in things to make it a little bit more practical. Follow along. Thanks to all those who have supported me so far up to this point.